Thank you everyone for being here. Good morning. Today I'm going to make this a little bit different because I'm not going to tell you about the research planning, but I'm going to share with you the experience of the pilot study. Okay? So the research is about Asian students and class participation abroad, and I also added the pre-title because it is an intercultural experience. Okay? So let's start with the questions. Have you guys observed that the Asians talk less and participate less in class? Or if you have wondering if it's yes, is it a personal choice, or is there any situation that make Asians are like this? Or the third one, maybe you've been wondering what are the factors that have been contributing to this phenomenon. And this is actually the last one, is my research question. I want to find out why this is happening. But first, let's see our real class proportion. Okay? In this data, if Asia is number 3, okay? So if we assume that class proportion with class participation have a strong positive relations, it means that we assume Asians to speak more in the class. But I surveyed 27 respondents for them to choose 5 nationalities who talk the most in the class, and also try to rank them and then score them. This is the result. In the top 10, Asians is not here. It's the US number 1 and Mexico number 2, Tanzania number 3. Okay? And there, the only Asian is Indians, right? Way to go. And if we see the whole rating, the Asians are in red, yeah? And they are all pretty much in the bottom half, okay? And now we see the move between proportion and the scores to see these relations. The first one, true continents. North America, they stay up there, okay? So they talk, they have more size and they talk more. And then the Africans, they are also, they disperse. 2 countries up there and 1 country down there. And then we see this is Europe. Europe is pretty much in the middle of the distribution. And then we see Latin America, this also dispersed. I will tell you why. And then this is Oceania, it's in the middle. And Asia, they stay in the bottom half. Okay? So this pretty much validate my assumption. But if you think that this is not valuable enough and you think it's subjective because it's a trade, I did an empirical evidence. I also, tried to list all the rapporteurs in the class, and this is what happened. Again, no Asians except the Indians. Okay? Right. Now we try to find out why. But first, let us see about my methodology. So I surveyed all Asian students in the class besides myself, because I don't want it to be biased. And this is, I prepared 15 simple questions. In the questionnaire, it includes yes or no questions, multiple choices, and then rating questions. And then I do also one-to-one interview, and then group discussion, okay? So to know what are the reasons of the answers, okay? And then secondly, I do the coding. After I get all the data, this is what I did. I do transcribing, and then pre-coding, open coding, categorizing the codes, and then actual coding to make a theme out of the data. All right? But I haven't told you everything. No, wait. So this is the findings of the Asian data. Sorry. I found 2 variables, language and education system, and now instead of giving you a picture, I'm giving you quotations. So it makes clear. Asian students have barriers in language and education system. First, language. They need more time to articulate, and then the way to express opinions and explanatory skill. And for the education system, back home, they think that they are not taught to they are only taught to respond to a test, but not to grasp the learning that will affect our life, And then the system back home does not encourage or motivate us to have debates in class. And the last one, I always concentrate to listen. So here in Europe, I never had experience to really being active in class. So these are the 2 variables. But again, I haven't told you everything. I also did a comparison study with non-Asian students. I did a stratified systematic random sampling, so the distribution of those I surveyed matched with the distribution of the class population. So I did many countries also, and I found this. The Latin American students also have the same problem with language. They say they need more time to be able to talk in English. And also, after delivering my opinion, I always think that I have never spoken as I want to. Okay? And then for the education system, the French and the Swiss also have the same, a little bit of, well, not problem, but the same habit. At school, you learn. You don't say anything when you're not an expert, especially when it's a bullshit. You don't say anything in class. Back home, you just sit, take notes, and leave. The professors go, and you don't talk to him. If you ask questions, everybody will look at you and be amazed. Okay? So, if this is the case, then my question is still not being answered. Why does Asian talk less than Latin American and then the Europeans? This is my third variables. It is the Asian culture. What do I mean by Asian cultures? Firstly, conception of shame. We have such a big conception of shame at home. And then there's also a major cultural barrier, fear of being wrong. I think it's the same with everyone, but with the big conception of shame, it's a little bit more. It's a lot bigger than the other. And then it's also about collectivity and harmony. This is a very interesting quotation from a respondent. It is about sustaining collectivity rather than showing one's individual preference. It's about harmony in society. So that's what Asian students believe, to generalize. And then back home, whatever you do it for your family, for your society. I am here not only representing myself, but also my country. So I need to be careful of this patriotism. All right? And then, there's also a link from Asian culture to language and education system. To language is the self-esteem, because you're very afraid to be shamed. So, it's intimidating sometimes to speak to English native speaker. And also precision, because, we want to be perfect. So we are trying to be precise about our opinions. And then with education system, it's actually impolite to cut the professors when they are talking. And also, there's a bit of seniority culture in this. I will never call the TAs by their first name. Never, never, never. Even though professors encourage students to talk in college back home, we also try to make an improvement in this education system. But then students stay quiet because they are used to be passive for the 20 years of their life. So this is actually a habit. All right? Now, so I found these three variables. And what possible extension to this is to test a multiple regression equation about these three variables to help the professor and the institute to really predict the class dynamic and to find out what are the best learning methods to be implemented in the class. And also maybe to give orientation to the Asian students that this is actually a normal thing. Okay? And then what's not covered today, I can find regional classification that maybe Indians talk more than the other regions of Asia. And then if experience in living abroad help to participate more, or experience in academic activities abroad helps more to participate. And then if Asian lose confidence more than the non-Asians, which is, through my survey, it's not the case. And if Asian students need more effort to be here, and it's not the case. And then the last one, if there is a variable of class size with Asian students, which is not the case, but there is this variable of class size for the non-Asian students. Okay? So if you want to know more about this, just contact me through email or phone, or we can have lunch today in the cafeteria. And thank you very much for